Now, before we start this, you've been on at sea for 40 days.
42 days.
I got out of bed this morning, had a shower, and I look way worse than you. How are you so still put together? This is still white.
When he arrives.
A hot woman and a cold beer.
And it's not only...
Columbus did it twice as fast as you.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
No, he didn't.
Columbus did it twice as fast as you did.
Rob was there. Your
And we're back between two Yetis on a special feature with...
Dan Lenard.
Dan Lenard. Lenard or Lenard?
Lenard.
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 It's a very English way of saying it, Lenard.
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 Yeah, but actually it's German.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it comes from von Lenard. And,
Von Lenard.
Von Lenard. Von doesn't really mean noble, but...
It sounds it.
yeah, well, it's just...
So, we're here today at Pier 66. Oh, we got balloons maybe floating in front of the camera. We have our assistant trying not to get in the camera.
Is it a wide angle?
It is, we may see you.
Okay.
So Dan, you have just done the impossible.
Well, it's not impossible
It
because,
is.
nah, come on, people done much worse than I did. I actually have a really high-performance machine there for what I actually could have. The people went in a barrel across the Atlantic Ocean, you know, or
What, have they?
swimming, or
So, in my perspective, you've just done the Atlantic crossing with no electronics, no GPS, no navigation, no SATCOM, nothing.
which is the smallest part of what I didn't have. The biggest part that I didn't have is I didn't have autopilot. So I was steering every single mile of that.
An autopilot on a sailboat is just putting the tiller in lock, isn't it? Or
No. Every sailing boat today would have a proper autopilot. You set your course, you set your sails, and then you go and read books, or you go to Netflix.
and what, the sails do it for you?
No, you set the course, the direction. The boat will follow through the waves, and you don't have to steer. You are free. All day you can just take sun and read books. But without autopilot,
You're
are
on it.
in a car. It's like driving across ocean, but not on a road, but through a bumpy, rocky desert. 40 days. That's what it,
Now, you haven't slept for 3 days.
yeah, last 3 days I had 3 hours altogether. I mean, last night nothing, of course.
How old are you?
50.
50 years.
This sounds like a middle-age crisis, right?
Well, but if I didn't sleep for 3 days, I would be in serious. My body would be falling apart.
You know,
You're a special person to be able to do that.
No. You build up your resistance very quickly when you are pushed into conditions and have no other choice. And it's not an option, and you start to control these things very quickly. And we would all be amazed how much more capacities and how much more characteristics we are holding in ourselves and not knowing about them, actually.
So your point of doing this was to raise awareness that...
Well, two things, actually. I wanted to promote the beauty of pure sailing, the beauty that is getting lost. I mean, kids are still having small boats, and
the beauty of getting lost. That's fantastic.
That's what sailing is about, because sailing is endless resource of movement, because it's sustainable, never expiring resource of energy, the wind, no? So you can go anywhere, and we don't do that. Sailing is one of those ways of going around that can literally get you anywhere through infinity of time. There is no limit. I mean, these boats will use the fuel and it's gone, you know?
In a couple of hours, they need to refill.
What I did these 42 days could become life. You could do that every day in your life and would still be life, and it would never require refueling or it's like going forever, you know?
Well, for you, what was, I mean, I'm sure there's lots of highlights, but is there one moment, or is it just really, I mean, you haven't slept yet, so you haven't had time to think about it.
No. I mean, you wouldn't believe, yesterday, it was my last day before my last night in the northern Bahamas. So just after the east-west North Passage, let's say north of Bimini Islands. You know, you have a plateau of Bahamas, which is just like a few feet deep. And then just here you have like 1,000-meter deep water. But yesterday was calm like this marina, and you couldn't tell where is not deep and where is deep water. There
wasn't a color difference?
No color difference, nothing. Clouds like this, white, and very strange reflections. It was exactly looking like this surface. It was looking like open sea, and you know it's not. Just that Bahamas are so low that after a few miles you don't see anything.
Oh dear, is it going to be too shallow?
I was drifting with the Code 0, which is the lightest wind sail that you can have. My last miles, and it was just beautiful sailing. After 42 days, I said, my God, I would really want to do that some more.
So that speed was nice? Just zero?
Speed, you know what, with Code 0, we have like 3 knots of wind like this, and you go like 5 knots, and you are just building speed out of your apparent wind. And that's why it's called drifting. You're just drifting through the waters. And it's that beauty that after 42 days of sailing, you are enjoying sailing, you know?
Because you built this boat, right?
Not me, but somebody did, yes, for me, yes.
But you made it out of, not scrap, but older boats.
I would call it repurposed.
Yeah, which is another beautiful thing. That has had such less of an impact on the environment simply because it was already made.
You know, actually every piece was already made, yes, except that black top house. The top deck, that was made because we didn't have the right one for that, so we made that on the spot. But there is no design for this boat, not in my possession, but definitely every piece was designed by somebody.
And it is beautiful.
And we assembled, well, it was made of beautiful boats because this is a high-performance boat. It was. This boat was really high performance 10 years ago, and still, you know, it's like a Formula One 10 years ago. Today's Formula One is 1% better than the one from 10 years ago. Yeah.
It's amazing, actually. This is basically in England, I guess in America too, we call it a chop shop. You bring a car in, 2 cars, and you chop them in half.
What it is.
That's exactly
what it is. It's a chop off because it's actually lower house than probably initially planned. But look, mast is new, never used, but it's 10 years old. So it was new.
Never used?
It was never used, packed, 10 years old, sitting there. and it's from another boat, completely nothing to do with this one. So we adapted the structure for this one. But it's a beautiful mast. It looks out of fashion today, but it's a mast that you can't really easily break. So it was fully proven. So I hadn't had any fear for the boat at all through the trip. On a sailboat, you are unlimited.
Yeah.
And it's the only niche of yachting that allows you that. And I'm promoting this. It's beauty of sailing boat. That's one thing.
Is that reason 2 or is that reason 1?
That's the reason, one personal reason I love sailing.
No, there's 2 reasons why you're doing this. I got to keep you on track. You've had 2 bottles of champagne now.
No. The second reason is that, and that's making me more universal as a yachtsman, no matter what boat you take out, there is a large and really evident problem with trash pollution of the seas, of the water.
Now, pollution's a real thing. Climate change is a debatable thing, but pollution, it's there, it's visible. You can see it, you can smell it.
You know why we don't see it? In nice places, special, expensive crew is cleaning our beaches every morning before we get there, and we say, oh, how nice. Leave it 40 days without maintenance. You'll see what the beach looks
really
like.
Happens.
So if we hang out around places where there is the cleaning service, we cannot realize how bad it is. It's like if we are living in areas like ours, where we have recycling of trash, you don't see trash. Go to Bali. You think Bali is a beautiful place. Bali is sinking in its own trash. Sinking. They have no trash service out of the main town, and people are just throwing things in the backyard or in front of the entrance of the village. There is like a big pile of stuff, and then the rain and wind comes, and everything gets flushed in the water. Bali's beaches are full of plastic. Nobody swims there anymore.
Isn't that amazing? You don't see it.
Not only plastic, trash.
What was the biggest piece of you saw out there?
Well, Rob said you see a trailer. I didn't see a trailer. I've seen some important plastic barrels, cans, just floating there for years, because plastic is so resistant that if it's properly closed, a barrel is floating and you see it has 2 meters of algae down there. So it's drifting around for a long time around the ocean, and it's just there, and it's going to stay there. Or it's going to go on some beach, or it's just going to roll in the center, and more of these things will add to it, and at the end you have the island of plastic like in a Pacific Ocean.
Yeah.
And it's going to happen because we are not aware how much of that stuff ends up in the water. Maybe you throw it in a backyard, that flushes it in a stream, the stream flushes it in the river, and then you have it in the ocean, it ends up there. And the second thing is, you lose a bottle, you throw a piece. What's one piece of plastic? Nothing, but billions of people do that, and that's what happens.
It's a lot of plastic. So you had no plastic on this boat?
I had no single-use plastic on this boat. The boat itself is carbon fiber, and I had reusable plastic containers because I repacked my food.
Okay.
So I avoided any packaging, so I didn't have a daily trash. Except for a bottle, which I believe that if you throw a glass bottle in the water, sinking it, it's actually a stone. It will become eventually a coral with a hole, and some little fish will live in it. And
grounds out, and it's
it's
shale.
actually one of the ways to even, even US is throwing old tanks and sinking old ships. Before they scrap them, they sink them, they become an artificial coral reef. It's nothing wrong with that if it's properly done. But we are not talking about plastic. We're talking about natural material, metal, stone, glass. This is not... But if you are having all your water for a trip like that in 1.5 liter bottles, what shit you are making. Not even saying throwing it away, but you are handing this in Antigua to trash service. What do you think Antigua has special recycling? Yeah, for some stuff, yes. And some stuff will just be thrown on the other side of the...
Most of it will,
But
yeah.
not because Antiguas are not capable. It's because you cannot control this thing. It's better not even making it and producing it and having it. Then there is no reason why would somebody throw something away that isn't there.
It's the plastic thing to me is fascinating because everyone talks about it, and everyone's really like, oh yeah, it's really bad. But then you're at a boat show, and everyone's got a water bottle.
It's
You
terrible.
go and get food, and they've got plastic knife and forks. You go to a bar, and there's a straw. It's like,
But look
stop
how
talking
much...
about it. Do it.
Look how we are. We are today suffering from the other side. The whole industry that supplies us is organized around single-use plastic. So look how much trash do you produce every day at home, and you don't want it, and you go to the shop, and it's very difficult to buy
Anything
fresh
without plastic.
Yeah. And some stuff you just don't get without plastic, you know. I mean, or you have to really live in the nice Italian town, and you go to the butcher, mezzo chilo di prosciutto, grazie. You go to the pasta guy that is just putting you in a paper bag the fresh pasta. You go to the guys selling vegetables and, you know, fresh food living. Luxury today. Not even accessible sometimes, you know, even in a very rich areas.
I cannot buy here in America anything without plastic.
Really difficult, I know, because even in Italy, if you buy just through a supermarket, it's a good quality food, but it's in plastic. It's and you are making it, and you are making trash, and that trash. The problem of that trash is that it's not 100% under control where it ends. So if 10% is ending in unknowing location, that is where you actually find it in the sea. At the end of the road, it's going to end up in the sea. Because everything we do ends in the sea sooner or later.
Sooner or later, yeah.
Every poison, every...
tidal rise, the lot, yeah.
Look, even pesticide ends in the sea.
We have a
the
huge problem here in
The
Florida.
pesticide that you use on your corn, you will eat from your sardines when the cycle is closed.
When the cycle is closed,
So the sea is the final trash collector, you know? And that's where I wanted to raise the awareness. I mean, whatever you throw down here, it may probably end the road in the sea somehow, you know? So we are not aware of that, but because, and that's again, for people never leaving the coast, if you go in the middle of the ocean, which is vast, and you see how much human already made an impact on a 4,000 kilometers of ocean, and you will see pieces of men around, you know? That's really incredible. When there is no man.
Yeah.
It's like you are in the middle of Atlantic, you know that in a circle of, I don't know, 500 miles probably there is a ship. That's it, you know? But you look in the water and there's a piece of plastic.
Man is there.
Man is there, exactly. It's disgusting. It raises your self-awareness, and I'm trying to transmit this, you know? I'm gonna try to transmit this. I mean, what we don't see doesn't mean that doesn't exist, you know?
Yeah. Bloody hell.
That's it. That's the second reason. And what more beautiful way than doing this trip like this and connect it into these few organizations that I'm in contact with and try to advocate them, you know, try to be ambassador, you know.
Is this going to influence the way you design boats now?
No. Look, boating itself is not on a bad way, actually. I mean,
It's not, is it?
No.
Everyone's like, oh, these big things, you know, polluting. They're not.
Come on.
They're not.
Those guys there are polluting. The cruiser.
Oh, the cruise ships.
That cruise ship is
The
a
fishing
40
vessels.
megawatt. Oh, fishing fleet. 60 million of boats. I don't know how many boats are out there with all kinds of engines that are out of use, and they have no control. They have a lobby. They can do whatever they want. That guy's gonna go and throw 1.5 liter plastic bottle in the water. He doesn't care.
No question, yeah.
So
These guys are the ones that are actually being responsible.
they are responsible, and also look, there's nobody on the boat. I mean, boats are so
Underused.
seldomly used that we would be really, I don't know if the right word is pretentious to say we are polluters, you know, because we are not big enough to
Clearly
even call
not.
ourselves polluters, you know. We had so many calculations, like a guy using a car to work every day, it's gonna pollute much more in a year than a boat like this or something like that, you know. I mean,
But it's the stigma, it's the perception that
you
that's
know,
a polluter.
pollution is in building them, but pollution is in everything we produce. So, because we build only 50 of these per year, again, it would be pretentious to
Say that we are the big problem.
I mean, I'm going to attack car industry. It's much, I mean, nobody's going to say that loudly, but if you drive a 30-year-old car with old engine, you pollute less because you didn't buy 5 cars in between.
Yeah, you pollute much less than the Tesla, because the Tesla, to produce...
No, but to produce new cars from your 30-year-old car, if you were buying every 5 year a new car,
Yeah.
the pollution of making all these new cars from 30 years till today, it's
huge.
enormous. You can talk about your engine being stinky, but it doesn't make any sense, you know. Brand new car pollutes more by making it than your engine will ever produce in pollution because being old.
Yeah.
So, you know, but you know, that's a heretic thinking. We are a capitalistic society that is based on production and on increment of production. So we have to make new things because the whole thing is made on consumption.
Yeah.
But yachting is not a major polluting player, and it would be like really. And it's the nice thing is yachting is actually even trying to be greener. With it being so little, it's still trying to be greener.
Leading the way, but still...
Yeah, but you know,
the,
it's a pity that we force so much making a yacht itself a cleaner burner of fossil fuel, because it's only making a couple of 100 hours per year, you know, on the engine. It would be much nicer if we would influence yachtsmen to more carefully select what their provisions are. So they don't, because they have cool rooms and we could build better cool rooms. Yachting has a budget. We could definitely use mostly fresh food and make much less trash. Because if we build out of this a life status standard, you know, like I'm not producing packaging trash because I can afford it, that's where yachting could actually be a leader, actually.
Yeah, and that's part of the aim.
Saying, I mean, if you could put a sticker on the boat, say no packaging, we pre-pack, we eat fresh, that is very nice, actually.
It's not a bad idea.
Now, and yachting
Maybe this should be the Vela Code. The Vela Code.
Well, Vela
stamp of
Code.
approval.
The Vela Code. You know, Vela means sail
Right.
in Latin and sail in Italian, no?
Okay.
But also sailboat in Italian. If this could be a code of responsible, lateral thing to yachting, not yachting itself. I mean, yacht itself is a beautiful thing, but how we use it, you know? What we bring on board, how our guests, are they influenced by our lifestyle, you know? Can we transmit them something else than just beauty of going out on the water? Can we tell them we don't use plastic bottle? We have our own water maker and we make our own minerals inside, you know, and we make our own fresh water.
Lead by
And you should
example.
buy one of these because actually you don't have to buy any more of the bottles, you know. This could be, you know, where people could, through yachts, discover that some things are not necessary. Things that are totally obvious to us are not necessarily like they look like, you know.
Yeah.
Much better.
Blimey. Well, you get handed the keys tomorrow for Fort Lauderdale, which is going to be quite a... I don't know anybody else who's going to be handed that honour.
Well, I'm really amazed about that, actually. But it's also part of my past life. I mean, Fort Lauderdale was for years my working place through the boat show. I mean, this boat show was forever my important contact with my market, my clients. And somehow it became my final destination. And I really like Fort Lauderdale much more than Miami. Miami is a touristic place, and Fort Lauderdale is kind of nice place, you know.
Miami has a lot more going on, but you're right. Fort Lauderdale has the industry.
Yeah.
and it's home.
I mean, this is so much boating here, you know. This is boating. This is boating. Look, while we are here, 3 boats passed by, moored, anchored, moored. You know, it's where I enjoy. I could live in marina and just do what these guys are doing. It's just part of good life, hanging out with boats. You know, like a car shop. You want to live in a car shop if you're a car geek.
Yeah. I think there's one thing we're missing is we haven't talked about her. She's been waiting for you for
14 days.
42 days.
Yeah, well, plus 14 days
Yeah,
from the expected arrival, yeah. Which was the hard part, because she was not in a mindset to. We're talking about my girlfriend, Angela.
Do you want to come and be on camera?
Come on.
Come on.
What to say? You think I have to say something?
No, you can just stand here and look pretty. Or you can look relieved, or you can look excited that he's back.
Yeah, well, she didn't build that mindset of non-expectancy, you know, so she was expecting me in 26 days, and then she couldn't understand when I'm going to arrive, and so it was another 14 days that was completely uncertain for her.
That I spent in Miami.
But she spent so much time on organizing things for me, so today somebody was waiting for me outside.
And you had a hotel room.
I have a
there's
hotel
food
room, and
there's
Robert Moran took us for breakfast, and it was just great. And Moyen Chardon, and
It's amazing.
Ironed shirt, you know, white shirt,
Yes.
prepared everything.
It doesn't need it. Look,
Yeah.
it's in linen. It looks like it's
And
ironed.
he has me here, so I think I was enough.
that's her on the.
I tell you one thing about Rob Moran. He's fantastic, isn't he?
I like him. I like him. He's one of those guys that is exactly totally immune to the Armani shop effect. You know.
Yes, absolutely.
He has his job and his life, and then he's Robert Moran hanging out with the wealthiest guys in the world, you know? But in a most down-to-earth way, and that's why I like him. I mean,
Yeah.
in substance, he's pure.
I've never met him before until the other day. It's just like, wow, he's really, and he's so charismatic and
Yeah,
fun and yeah.
He's a big player in this industry.
Yeah.
He built plenty of big yachts, and he's building even more for very, very interesting, influential people of this planet. And then he takes a Sunday off to pull me in and give me a bottle of Moët and take me for eggs and ham for breakfast after 5,000 miles. You know?
I got that as a great clip of you just shoving everything in.
You can insert that inside.
Oh dear. Well, we'll leave you to it, and it's a pleasure, sir. And congratulations on.
Thank you.
Oh, and final thing, hands.
No, this cured already. You have no idea how they reject to collaborate the first week. I mean, I have.
Hold on, let me get this camera.
No, this looks so good. You are showing 10%. They were. You see, these are still how do you say, bruised. I don't have any touch on these two. The skin peeled 3 times in 10 days. I could literally pull down the flakes of skin, and the new would grow and it would get off immediately. This was not because of ropes, it was because of humidity, because of all day doing extreme things with your hands that you're not used to, you know. And I think another 10 days and they would become normal.
It'd be normal.
Yeah.
I've started realising you can tell a lot through a man's hand. When you shake somebody's hand, you know when it's like
Like a wet towel.
wet towel. But yours have done something. So.
Yachting capital of the world, everybody.
Exactly.
All currents come to Fort Lauderdale.
Can I present you a few people that were actually involved to get me here?
Yes,
Because, okay, so there is, well, my fiancée Angela, she was actually on the spot. She was on the spot and started to connect to people. So she connected to Moran Yacht and Ship, which are those guys there. Sean, can you come here, please? Sean is the head of the office. They are responsible for some of the biggest mega yachts on the world. And they're here in Fort Lauderdale. So Sean and then Megan, do you know Megan? You met? Megan is she's responsible for this place. So when these people got together, I got a kind of a cone. I was conveyed into final destination. Otherwise, I would be just a floating piece of carbon fiber in front of Fort Lauderdale trying to get somebody to pull me in. But in reality, they embraced me, got me here. The mooring was ready, hotel was ready. Sean organized the towing service. They were outside catching me. You know, that's very important after 42 days.
Yeah,
you know?
we think.
So this was it. It's accomplished. It was very well done because nothing happened. Nobody was hurt. Nothing was broken. So I'm really happy. Thank you. Thank you for welcoming me. Thank you very much.
Thank you all for being here today. This is really a great honor for the city to be able to welcome you and the effort and the mission and the message that you're trying to promote. So we're with you, we agree with you, and let's hope we can partner together in the future. I'm not going to accompany you on your next trip, I can tell you right now. I'm not there yet, so but anyway, we really appreciate you bringing your message to our city.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
So natural, yeah, you know, so natural. This is what people do, you know, say, oh, show me how, what's the...
Angela, what time is your watch saying?
Very good. Thank you. Haydi, let's abandon the ship. Women first.